Hi, everyone, and welcome to the channel. My name is Vinny. If you're new, welcome. So, this is what I want to talk about today. I don't know about you. Sorry about the airplane flying by. So, I have noticed for quite some time now, a couple of decades at least. I mean, things have changed a lot, right? Especially for those of us that are older, we notice these things a lot. Those of you who actually watch my stuff that are part of my generation, Generation X, I think we were blessed in many ways. And we have experienced so many things that these newer generations are never going to know what it's like, such as having a normal childhood, enjoying your childhood as a kid, which is something that most kids today don't do because they're not allowed to do it. Most parents these days just, throw tablets and phones at their kids and giving them a video game, whatever, and they think that that's normal and that's gonna be good for the child. um, I don't agree with that at all, but that's my opinion. You feel free to think whatever you want to think. I think that's a huge part of growing a healthy mind, a healthy mindset, and a healthy and strong way of thinking, which leads to being able to think for yourself. What do I mean by that? Having critical thinking. I honestly believe, by my observations and the things that I see all around me on a daily, all the time, that people are losing the ability to think for themselves. And there are many reasons for that. Obviously, there's all the external factors, the technology, um, the influencing of so many different things, right? But I also think that the upbringing and whichever generation that you are a part of is a major factor here. People accept so many things today without ever thinking twice, without ever doing any sort of like deep analysis on whatever the subject. It doesn't matter what it is. I've talked about the internet before many times, and I've talked about how I think it's one of the greatest things that ever happened to mankind. But there's also all the downside aspects of it and the negative that comes with it that we have to be able to understand, accept, and see for what it is. And with that, I'm going to talk about things like just because it's on the internet doesn't mean it's true, first of all. Places like Wikipedia that are a cesspool of misinformation, misconception, all kinds of things like that. A lot of people don't use real books anymore. Physical books, which is very important in my opinion. And then here's the other thing though. That's the other thing as well. Just because it's on a book doesn't mean it's true. The world has been filled with BS since day one. And anyone who who is able to think for themselves knows this. Anyone with a shred left of a conceptualization and understanding on what life is all about, what coming here means, knows and understands that, even if it's a book that's like hundreds of years old, just because somebody wrote something about it on paper doesn't mean that, number one, that's true, and number two, we should accept that without doing our own research and having our own understanding of the subject at hand, whatever that the subject may be. And I think critical thinking is truly the key and one of the most important aspects of life in itself for everyone to be able to understand themselves, the world around them, and the nature of this reality that we live in, right? But it's pretty scary these days to see how there are so many people, especially the younger generations, that they just accept everything that's thrown their way without ever doing their own analysis on whatever the thing is, and being able to take a moment and sit with themselves and use their own ability to think for themselves, use their critical thinking. I've talked about this in prior videos before, how I think, when I was young, I was blessed with having so many good teachers that, they used to teach us these things, to think for ourselves. And now with the internet and the advancement of AI, oh my gosh, there is so much. This is another thing. Everything in this world, it seems to me, it's been like that for a very, very long time. The whole fabric of society seems to be based upon and structured upon being built in this series of things that will always keep you distracted. Everything is a distraction in this world, especially now. There are so many things that will keep you distracted from finding out things about yourself, the nature of the world, the nature of reality. To be able to have the ability to think for yourself and not take everything at face value like most people do. I mean, take COVID, for example. And I'm not even going to go into it too much, but let's be real, guys. How many people went along with that whole thing and ended up, injecting themselves with this unknown substance that only God knows what it's going to do to your body and your health in the long run? I mean, I'm not judging, okay? You do what you want to do. Your body is yours, and it's your responsibility to take care of it and do what you think is right. But people put too much trust in these organizations, their power structures, and all the narratives and lies that everything It's been feeding you for years now. And it's all to distract you. They're all distractions. Everything. Everything. I really I don't I never ever usually talk about politics on this channel because this is not the point of the channel, you know. But man, this world is filled with so many things now. And when sometimes things come to the surface that expose certain aspects of, whether it is governments, countries, organizations, and things like that, have you noticed how when something like that happens, the news scandal, whatever it is, right? There's some sort of diversion created, like almost immediately to make people look the other way. And everybody goes along with it. People forget things so quickly these days. They forget the level of deception and lies that the people who run the world are willing to go to push their agendas, whatever they may be. And I'm just going to leave it at that. But we should always be able to think for ourselves, look at things with a critical mind, and doing our own research on whatever it is that is being thrown our way. Because I can tell you, there are so many, psyops and things of that nature happening these days. And I'm not going to sit here and explain to you what these things are. Go do your own research. Like I said, don't take my word for it. The very term conspiracy theory was coined by the CIA themselves to label people and to put the whole system against you. It's kind of like when that scene in The Matrix when Neo is walking around with Orpheus and he's basically explaining to Neo that, everyone that's a part of the system that hasn't waken up yet, it's basically your enemy because they don't think like you do. Do you see the depth of the message in that specific scene? So there are so many things. There are so many things. Like again, I'm not here to make you think a certain way, make you be a certain way, whatever. That's not my job. That's your job is to take care of yourself and how you live your life, what kind of mindset do you want to have. But if you really truly want to live a life free of all this noise, distractions, and things that are thrown our way 24/7 daily that are meant to basically keep you out of, I would say, the path of righteousness, of truly understanding your own nature and what you are and what life is all about. Because people who are able to think for themselves, we're like a different breed these days. I don't know how else to say it. It's becoming rarer and rarer. And there really isn't much more to talk about when it comes down to this. I think it's very important for people to understand that everything that's out there these days, like I said, the whole fabric of society and the world that we live in is built on distractions. There's distractions everywhere. Whether it is your favorite TV show, your music artist, whatever your favorite video game you like to play. And I understand people do these things as a sort of escapism, to escape reality, right? To escape the things that they have to go through in their lives and stuff, to a certain, I mean, it's understandable, but you also have to understand that these things were designed to be there, to be your coping mechanisms, to keep you living like an ordinary life without ever questioning anything and without doing anything of your own power to change the situation that you're in and have a better life, experience true joy, happiness, and all the things that are important in life that will make you a better person and that will actually, in contrast, improving the world. Because if everybody improves themselves, the world will become a better place. And yeah, we're not here to save the world, but we should really take care of ourselves during this experience here. And that's what I'm saying. So beware of the distractions, because they were designed for that, to keep you, perpetually busy with things that really won't bring you the things that are needed for you to improve whatever position you are in your own life. And this is going to be it for the message today, my friends. So if you like the channel, if you like the things that I do, what I talk about, don't forget to click that like button, share, subscribe, and all that jazz. And I will catch you all next time. Take care, be safe, and I'll see you on the next one.